What will our farms be like in 1975?
Why is California produce flown to Florida?
How can her hearing be helped by a pair of glasses?
Who is revolutionizing the humble flapjack?
Industry on parade. A brand new look at our America, produced on film each week by the National Association of Manufacturers.
Editors Kelly and Enlow are well aware, today's successful farm is run like a business organization, which in many respects it is. There's the same investment of savings in plant and equipment that a factory requires. Many thousands of dollars for every person who is to make a living out of the enterprise. Automatic dishwashers, deep freezers, electric ranges, and other work savers make it obvious that in the past generation, farm life has improved as much as farm production. But what of the next generation? The visitors have decided to make that question the crux of their article. Not what the Hecks have, want, or can do, but what kind of farming their children will be doing, say in 1975. Here's Emil Heck Sr., a man with a lot of ideas on the subject. If our agriculture is to take care of the needs of the population of 220 million predicted for 1975, there'll have to be much more of the sort of progress he and his son have already made. Improvement of the soil with the products of science and industry, reclamation of substandard or eroded acreage, increasing improvement of livestock, development of new and better crossbreeds in both livestock and crops. It's a wonderful future this Kansas farmer foresees, and he's happy his son, unlike the sons of many of his neighbors, has remained on the land to take part in that future. With their facts, figures, and photographs in hand, the editors prepare to return to their offices and combine the information in an article that will be both entertaining and informative. In Topeka, headquarters for Capper Publications, the two report back to top editors on what they found. At a story conference, attended today by Henry S. Blake, president and publisher, it is decided how best to approach the subject. Perhaps more research is called for, or additional artwork. Farm journalism, like farming itself, has progressed mightily in recent years. It has come a long way from the one-man country weekly. Its advances, as reflected by the publications put out here, have had much to do with keeping the farm population as well informed, perhaps even better informed, than any other segment of the American public. Finally, that report on the Hecks and their expectations for the future is set in type, and the presses begin to roll. The information that pours from presses like these will continue to help our farmers make their great contribution to the health, happiness, and security of the nation. Help them do their part in assuring for the America of 1975 a future with plenty of jobs, freedom, and opportunity.
Today's management recognizes that human progress must go hand in hand with mechanical and scientific advances. Thus, hundreds of manufacturing companies provide positions for handicapped persons so that they, like all of us, may gain the human dignity and personal satisfaction of being productive and earning a good income. Properly fitted to his job, the handicapped worker usually proves that he is equal and sometimes superior to other workers in work performed, attendance, safe working habits, and attitude toward his job. Industry welcomes physically handicapped workers.
Miami International Airport, with about 3 million passengers a year, it's one of the nation's busiest. But if it's that busy, why is so much of its precious space taken up by livestock pens? The answer is that these are passengers too. A few of the many thousands of animals, birds, and other beasts that pass through what has become our major air portal to Latin America. Cargo of all kinds flows into and out of the country in tremendous volume. Some U.S. manufacturers maintain sizable inventories here in the warehouses of the various airlines, so the goods will be ready for immediate shipment on the receipt of an order. Shippers have taken to sending some surprising cargoes by air. Window frames, for example. On planes, they require no protective packaging. Under certain conditions, it even costs less to fly corrugated cartons to foreign destinations, from which they will come back later carrying products that constitute some other country's contribution to international trade. In keeping with the variety of items that move through Miami, the airlines, large and small, utilize a variety of equipment for handling those items. Fork trucks, of course, and elevator trucks, too. Competition for the growing cargo traffic to and from Cuba, the West Indies, Central America, and points south is very intensive. And, as in all such cases, the competition has produced ingenious techniques for saving time, energy, and costs. One airline has built a ramp so the forklifts can roll right into the planes. Miami enjoys its new role as a port city so much that it doesn't even mind trans-shipping produce like lettuce from, of all places, California. Here's a load of the lettuce going aboard. Lettuce from California and from Connecticut, cut flowers. From Georgia, baby chicks. From Kentucky, refrigerators. Record players, newspapers, magazines, electric mixers, all handled as carefully and expeditiously as those 3 million human passengers. Cruise aboard, so here we go. In a few hours, the papers, chicks, and other cargo will be in latitudes where the seasons are reversed. The products of our farms and factories delivered on time and intact to our customers, who also happen to be the suppliers of things that we are just as anxious to receive.
Industry on Parade looks in on a busy executive proceeding with his day's work, receiving reports, giving dictation, taking innumerable phone calls. Would you guess he was hard of hearing and is wearing a hearing aid? Well, take a closer look at his glasses. Built into the frames are all the components of a hearing aid. A thin 1-inch tube conducts sound inconspicuously directly into the ear. The combination hearing aids and spectacles are manufactured here at Aryan Inc. in Dobbs Ferry, New York. A visit to the assembly line reveals that the idea is far from being a gadget or novelty. The company, an experienced producer of conventional hearing aids, has poured everything it has in the way of technological know-how into the listeners, as it calls the new type hearing aids. Minute transistors take the place of much bulkier vacuum tubes. The use of comparably tiny batteries and other parts makes possible a chain of electronic elements that picks up a sound, amplifies it, and transmits it to the ear. All these elements crowded into this limited space. By skillful engineering, they've been able to cram in everything essential to power and clarity of sound, without adding more than a fraction of an inch to the size of the glasses nor more than an ounce or so to their weight. Tests for hearing deficiency cover not only loss of sound volume, but also failure to hear high tones or low tones and other factors. The technician covers the range of sounds audible to the human ear and determines precisely the degree and the kind of hearing loss involved. After the manufacturer has put together and adjusted the right listening elements, and her optician or optometrist has prepared the prescription for correct vision, the customer gets a final fitting for adjustment of frames. Not bad. Better vision and better hearing in one package.
In the past, as America's population has grown, its natural resources developed, new industries came into being. More and more people invested their savings in plant, tools, and machines. This, in turn, permitted employees in industrial plants to increase their output through the use of mechanical power, newer and faster machines, as well as better production techniques. When the assembly line was introduced, it brought with it better testing and inspecting methods. These not only permitted the employees to increase their output, but enabled them to improve the quality of goods they turned out, and their wages and standard of living continued to climb.
Three young men in a hurry for breakfast. They'd all like pancakes, but mixing the batter and baking the cakes would take too long. Or would it? You just watch. They'll have their flapjacks in front of them in less than 3 minutes. Here's the answer. A semi-automatic machine put out by the Quaker Oats Company. Pre-packaged, ready-mix pancake ingredients are emptied into the mixing container. Just the right amount of water is added automatically as the batter is mechanically whipped to the proper consistency. From each package of mix, just enough pancakes for one order. The advantages in addition to speed are that every customer gets flapjacks made of fresh batter, and there's no batter left over to spoil or go to waste. The Quaker Oats people expect the machine to transform the pancake, until now chiefly a breakfast favorite, into a popular light meal to be eaten anytime, 24 hours a day. There you are, fellows. Pancakes in less than 3 minutes. Looks like the machine age has finally caught up with even that tradition-rich item, the flapjack, which now proved by automation.